So a lot of people were saying it looks like a loading screen and it looks like an anus, but I feel like if you say that, the before version does too. My face is so shiny.
It's always shiny.
The Botox. Okay. Welcome to our first reaction video. Wait, that is to start again.
Okay. Welcome.
Okay, this is the first time we're doing a video like this, so forgive us.
You just did a piece. Okay. This is gonna be great. Okay.
Wait, this is the wrong slide. Oh, is it?
No.
Oh, it's the right one.
It's the right one.
Okay. Well, I didn't even do like a presentation slide. Okay.
Let's just jump right into it.
Okay, let's just jump right into it. We're gonna react to. Okay, no, let's provide some context because people, okay, in the design community, especially, but I feel like also just beyond that, anytime a big corporate brand does a redesign, there are always a lot of opinions on it.
Yeah.
Like a lot. People will be on comments, why was this so expensive and all. So usually it has a lot to do with the price. And Walmart recently did a redesign and we're going to react to it today.
Okay, so we're going to be one of those people.
We're reacting to other people's reactions and then we're reacting to the design and our opinions on the design.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
reason why I started with this slide is because I thought it was funny that a big newspaper like The Independent wrote an article about the backlash that Walmart is getting for their redesign. Like, how is this newsworthy?
Okay, so it's getting backlash.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it's great. That's why I'm like, why are there so many haters? Because don't
spoiler our opinion. That comes at the end.
Okay. I will keep the spoilers to myself.
So Walmart faces widespread mockery over new logo. The way they put new in quotation marks.
Okay. I see.
Okay, so we already see where this is going, where the reactions are going.
Okay.
So, wait, are we recording? Yeah. Okay.
Good.
Just wanted to make sure. So these are some of the reactions. I obviously censored the people's faces and their names. Should I read them?
Yeah, please.
Okay, the first one. Amazing. There is a team out there earning full-time salaries and benefits to come up with this masterpiece and innovation. The cherry on top would be if they hired a consulting firm to recommend that they update their logo as well. These two are very similar.
Okay.
It's about the price of it all. The second one, I wonder how many tens of thousands of dollars were spent to arrive at this new direction. Sorry, my mouse is in the way there. New direction.
Okay, tens of thousands. They think it's that cheap.
I also want to put a disclaimer in here because I think a lot of people have very bad feelings towards companies like Walmart and specifically Walmart because of their business practices and because they are very, very profitable and they don't share that profit among the people doing the work. So people in the Walmart stores working for Walmart.
Okay, got it.
I think the first comment here is very in that direction.
Okay, I thought the first comment was about the agencies or more like the higher ups who decided that they.
Yeah, I think it's two things. They're saying that Walmart probably hired some expensive consulting firm that then recommended they do the redesign. So there are multiple levels of people profiting off of this one project, and none of that makes sense because the logo design wasn't even necessary. So like kind of that's like the summary.
It's an entirely different conversation.
I know.
But is it like really necessary?
Because the masterpiece and innovation, like there's a lot of sarcasm in that first comment. And the second one, the new direction. Most of the backlash that they were getting was like in that direction of they barely changed anything. How is this a redesign? And then all of that comes down to why would they spend all that money on a redesign? Redesign.
Okay.
So again, the price, branding agency, that'll be $700,000. I think I looked up how expensive it was. I think I have another slide with the actual price. I don't know if that source is reliable though.
Okay.
But in my opinion, this branding definitely cost upwards of $1 million. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
And that's a normal price.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm not shocked.
Yeah. So is the brand refresh in the room with us? Again, questioning this even being a redesign in the first place.
Okay, let's. I think you showed me some slides of. Is there something coming about that? Of what it looks like?
Yeah, I feel like we should talk about our opinions on that.
Okay.
when we look at it in detail.
So now about this.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So I think this is something that comes up all the time. It's not specific to Walmart, that it's just super expensive. And people are always like, for example, we also had a case in Vienna where they redesigned, I think, the logo of Vienna. And that had the same things, like the same opinions
Same
as well,
energy.
same comments as well, like people being like shocked to their core that things cost money and that things cost a lot of money. And from the outside,
From the outside, things do look like the Vienna criticism was like, we have like the city of Vienna basically, and the city of Vienna did a redesign, and the redesign was basically like, from an outsider's standpoint, they changed the font. What a lot of people don't know though is that font was created specifically for the city of Vienna. So it's like, one, it's a completely custom thing. To developing a typography that works in many languages that's already like a big thing. And then there comes the scale of what that means. This is going to be on every single signage, all the documents, digital stuff, everything in Vienna that uses that font and uses that branding is affected by that. And that's a huge scale, and that means a huge risk.
Yeah, and responsibility also.
Yeah, imagine they mess up the font and then that's printed everywhere.
Yeah, no.
Now you have to reprint that. That's millions of euros.
It's more expensive than getting it right for whatever
getting it right for a few million the first time around.
Yeah, also it went beyond that. It's not just like a logo, even if it's just a logo, but usually rebranding goes beyond just the logo.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to look at as well later on.
Yeah. Oh, wow, I'm spoiling everything.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But another thing that's to note about these comments is that most of them, I only picked out a few, but most of them are very focused on the logo. But a rebranding, they're saying rebranding and logo in the same sentence, but a rebranding isn't a logo and a new logo isn't a rebranding. So there's some disconnect about the understanding of what a redesign is in the first place.
Yeah. Should we give more context on that?
Yeah. So what is a redesign?
Depends, obviously, on the scope of it all. But usually if you rebrand, it's not just the logo that's changing. With the simple terms, it's also the imagery that changes, the campaigns that change.
But even before that, it's also the strategy.
Of course, it's a strategy. The target groups is aimed at.
Yeah, most of the money goes into the research that is involved in creating a successful strategy.
Yeah.
And that's something people don't see. They only see the final product, but the implication of that is that people only judge the final product.
Yeah, that's something we might be getting it in a bit later, depends on the comments, but I'm really have like this beef with people who have zero context.
Yeah, and a lot of opinions.
And I also have a lot of opinions because we are here like doing a reaction video.
Yeah.
But this is more about also like creating awareness. I hope that's the right word.
Yeah.
To create awareness of what really goes on behind the scenes of a rebranding. Obviously we weren't part of this particular rebranding, but we were part of other redesigns.
They're all very similar, especially at this scale.
Exactly. So I feel like we have enough of insights to share about that.
Yeah. So the next one is also about the money. So this is the source I have for how expensive it was. Okay. So this is an article. I don't know this. I didn't vet the source at all. It was the only thing I could find when I Googled how much did it cost.
Oh, it doesn't seem so unrealistic.
So this article was taking apart like the changes that were done, and then at one point in the article it said, I think, how much it cost. So this person was saying $1.25 million for something I can do on my home computer. So there are a couple of things this person is saying. One, they're saying it's not worth that amount. Two, for the reason that they could do it themselves. And that's another thing that comes up whenever there's a rebranding.
Yeah, that's true.
I could have done this myself in Word or whatever with PowerPoint. and I would have done it for the thing that this person is also implying is that they could have done it for cheaper.
Yeah.
So they're saying it's not worth that amount because they could have done it on their home computer, meaning, summary of that, it should have been a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a very common theme. Also, I'm not sure if that's also going to happen in the other slides where people start redesigning it.
I didn't put any of that in there, no.
Okay. I mean, this one, I think it looks good. Oh, shit. Sorry for the spoiler. But what I'm trying to say is that, for example, what happened with Jaguar, where people started redesigning it.
Yeah.
And this, sorry, I need to tell my opinion. It looks good. And I think that people think it looks fine. That's why they don't jump and start crazy redesigns like with Jaguar, which was like hated from most people.
I mean, one thing about the Walmart redesign is I don't think anyone really talked about it being bad.
Exactly. That's the difference here.
Yeah, it was more that they didn't think it was a redesign and it didn't warrant the work that was done, and that it doesn't, if they're going to redesign, they might as well do it like a actual rehaul of everything.
But then they do it and then everyone is like, it doesn't look like Walmart anymore.
Yeah. Then they do something like Jaguar and then they get hate for doing something that alienates their existing audience.
You cannot, the thing is that when so many eyes are on a product, you just can't get it right.
Yeah.
Like there will be people who want innovation. There will be people who hate innovation. There will be people who wanted to see innovation, but not like that.
I think people get so like bogged down in semantics too, because a redesign, everyone was calling it a redesign, but what it really was like a facelift.
It was a re-strategizing.
Re-strategizing for sure. I'm sure they did strategy, but it was the actual what you see. It was a facelift. It's taking the existing design and elevating it and making it feel more modern and more fresh, which is also very common. And if you look at logo design over the years of big brands like Coca-Cola, Starbucks, if you look at the evolution, usually there's a big jump from their like first logo to their what they have now. Mm-hmm. But then when you look at the jumps from the last maybe like 20, 50 years, they're very small.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening here. You can't take a brand like Walmart and just completely redesign it.
You could, but then maybe something like Jaguar happens.
Yeah, you could do it, but it's a huge risk, and they don't usually take that risk. Usually they're very subtle about the changes they make.
It makes sense. There's like so much money riding on these. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then also, I guess one thing I want to say to this comment too, and to all the people saying they could have done it themselves, but you didn't. So yes, when you see a final product, it's like the artist. It's like someone seeing art, someone who's not an artist. So it's often a criticism of modern art saying, oh, I could have done that. But you didn't. The artist did it. It was their idea and they are getting praised for that. And it's the same thing here. Like someone came up with the idea to elevate the brand in this way and they got money from that because that's what they were hired and paid to do.
Yeah, no.
It's irrelevant if someone else would have been able to do the same work at that point.
Yes. Also, it's about them not knowing any requirements. Like I can do it on my home computer.
Yeah. No, because you don't even know what was asked of them.
Exactly. Maybe exactly that was asked of them. Like jumping back to where's the one with the innovation? Like
the first one, yeah.
Like for example, maybe they didn't want big innovation.
I'm pretty sure they didn't, because if they wanted that, it would be different.
Yeah, there are like so many stakeholders sitting there making decisions, and they wouldn't like put out something that is not aligned with their strategy, that is not aligned with their target group. And yeah, so sometimes they don't ask for big innovations, like you don't even know what the requirements were. I think that's my biggest beef with these things is like when they're criticizing especially the design agency, I mean, coming from a perspective of a design agency, is that I don't think it's fair.
Because you weren't involved in the process.
Exactly. And the process of a redesign, especially on a scale like this, is like you probably do more process and strategy than you do actual execution work. And putting that on a scale, and it's something that's invisible work.
Yeah.
And you see an end product, but you don't see all the work behind it. And I think that then comments on innovation, you don't even know what the requirements
are. They could have done super innovative things, but those weren't the things that the client wanted or picked.
So on the process, so if a client comes to you with a briefing, hey, we want to tweak this, we want it to like, I'm just like guessing from the outcome.
Yeah.
We want to tweak this. We want to modernize it. We want to appeal to a younger target group as well, and not alienate the ones that we already have.
Yeah.
This kind of looks like that situation to me as an outsider. So you wouldn't come as an agency and completely redo it. I mean, that's kind of like you're shooting yourself in your own knee with that idea. Maybe there is one, you do like some iteration, like you do some, not iterations, sorry, like you do some versions and maybe you show a bold version, innovative version, but you wouldn't go against the requirements, against the briefing, because they hire you to
do that, to fulfill that.
Exactly. Like it would be stupid as a designer or an agency to go like, I don't know, completely against the briefing they gave you.
Yeah. Okay. So let's look at it now from our perspective.
Okay.
So, I mean, obviously I'm influenced by the negative reactions to the redesign, but from my like as objective as I can be, given all the information I have, if I were to see this, if someone were to show me the before and after, so the before is on the left here and the after is on the right, I mean, I think it looks good.
Me too. Like, I get it. There's not much happening
I don't have much to say other than I think it looks good and I think it looks better and I think it's an improvement.
Me too.
The colors are more fresh. I feel like they would work on print and they would also work on digital. They work digitally better than the previous version, because the previous version looks kind of like, now that you see the after, the previous suddenly looks dull.
Yeah.
Like if I hadn't seen the after, the previous probably would look fine, but now seeing it with the fresher color, it seems dull in comparison, old.
Yeah. Seems new and fresh.
Yeah, new, fresh, and no notes, honestly.
Yeah, like it.
I wouldn't have done anything differently.
Yeah. Obviously, we don't know the requirements in briefing, so... But
So a lot of people were saying it looks like a loading screen and it looks like an anus, but I feel like it, if you say that, the before version does too.
Yeah, I did not see an anus.
Those were the more, I don't know, like rude comments, I guess, but...
Also not the hater, yeah.
The really hater comments, but it doesn't look any less than a loading screen or less than an anus on the left to me.
The more I look at it, the more like it deforms for me. So like, you know, when this images, like
the more I look at it, the less...
Like, what do you see? And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know.
No, for sure. The more I look at it, the less it looks symmetrical.
Yeah. And
which I'm sure it is symmetrical, but it feels like it isn't.
I keep seeing weird dots in it.
Yeah, me too. That's not...
It's just this is not about that. Ooh.
So I put the stuff in here. I didn't find everything. I'm sure there was even more than this, but I put in the stuff I found that wasn't the logo. So other stuff that the agency or whoever was hired to do this, if it was done internally, worked on. So it wasn't just the logo. It's also about merchandise. It's also about the campaign. What does the photo shoot look like? You know, hiring the right faces for that. When I see this, I feel like the brief of the redesign, and I don't know because I wasn't there, was they wanted a fresher look and they wanted something that appeals to a young audience. Yeah. And that's what I see.
Considered young. It appeals to me. I really want that shirt.
Young, but at the same time not alienating their existing audience. And you see a range of ages here. You have a very young woman on the right, and then you have a young man in the second image on the left, and then the two people on the left look a little bit older to me. Like the woman in the middle of the three people looks a bit older, and the guy in the back also looks a bit older to me. So it feels like a range of people here, you know? And I feel that's like what Walmart is about, right? You're supposed to be, they probably want to attract like the average consumer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they did that great. And I love the hat. Like I want that hat now. The smiley face on the hat with the Walmart and the yellow colors, like
also the shirt. Honestly, all of this speaks to me. So I'm like, I saw it once. You showed it to me once. I'm a little bit biased because I already saw it and I thought cool.
Yeah.
But it's the same opinion right now.
But again, you see like that the fresher colors translate well to imagery, whereas I feel like the other colors wouldn't have translated as well.
Oh, this looks fresh and cool.
Yeah.
Like if that's what they were going for. Looks great to me. I don't know. I don't really have... I think the thing with me, I don't have such strong opinions about these rebrandings.
Good thing we're doing reaction videos to that then.
I know. But it's like,
you're always like, I don't care.
Because it's like I wasn't part of the I can say if I like it or not, sure. My subjective opinion.
No, but I feel like we should look at it from our professional opinions.
True.
And I think from a professional standpoint...
Looks like really well done.
And given what we know about it,
Yeah. Honestly, if we
oh,
came
no
up with
notes
this,
again, honestly.
if the briefing was the following, redo it a little bit, make it fresher, like freshen up the current branding,
Yeah.
but don't change too much.
Yeah,
And
make
we
it
came up
still
with this,
recognizable. Yeah.
I would be like, I'm proud.
I would put this
cool.
proudly in my portfolio.
Same.
For sure.
Yeah, I feel like some people are gonna completely take us apart for this.
So the reason why I put this in here is because obviously illustration was also deliverable.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing this is on like a wall in Walmart. I'm not saying every Walmart, but I'm guessing in some entrances. Yeah, this was obviously part of the brief. And this is something people don't see if they just see a logo and judge it based on the logo. It's always like logo, logo, logo. But, you know, the font that they use in the logo, they're obviously also using it on signage. It is an updated font. If we go back to like here, there was this...
It's more display fonty.
Yeah, it's bolder, it's fresher. It feels more, it has more character. I feel like there's more roundness to it. So it feels more like it has more character. They're obviously using that for signage. They have the illustration. I mean, this kind of illustration has to work on huge walls, which is also not an easy thing to do. I don't know. There's a lot of like expertise that goes into a final product like that.
Yeah, I think that's where the point is.
Yeah.
Sure, everyone can look, I will put it into very easy terms, look for a font and, I don't know, make it
Type Walmart into Word.
Exactly, and then
compare fonts.
Compare fonts and here's a new logo. But the thing is that there's a lot of work that goes beyond that. And there wouldn't be teams literally working their asses off for rebrandings. Otherwise, there could just be one person on the computer at home, on the home computer, just like, hey, do you want to do a new logo for Walmart? Yeah, sure. And then a rebranding too. Yeah, of course. And here you go. Here's $50. Do it for me.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as simple. But I get it from the outside. It might look as such because design, and I'm not going to say art too, but like, let's just keep it at design, always looks like easy.
I think when it looks easy, that means they've done a really, really good job.
Exactly. If you look at it and it's like simple and it works, you're like, wow.
And you don't have any like reaction to it other than like, actually, if you have a neutral reaction to something, like if I saw this on a wall, I'd walk past it. That means it's already done its job. Like, it's not supposed to provoke a huge response. It's supposed to just provoke a vibe. And you have, when you walk into a Walmart and you see that there's a vibe, and that's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of this illustration. I don't like illustrations on branding thing is.
Again, it's supposed, I think
again, why
it's supposed to appeal to an average consumer. You know,
Exactly,
an average consumer, you know, especially in the US, they have a house, they live in a neighborhood. There you see the Walmart truck there.
Yeah.
You see the guy on the ground doing the gardening. Someone's riding by on their bike.
It's very suburban.
It's very suburban. It's very like, oh, this could be my street kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
That's what they're trying to do there. And they've done it. I mean, I don't know. But the thing is, it's still a lot of work to create an illustration like that.
No, for sure.
Beyond the concept of it and what it's supposed to invoke, like just the skill of creating that for the color to work, for it to work on that scale, but also if you're standing close and all that thing. Like that takes expertise.
No, most definitely.
And it's expensive when you have experts doing things.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like experts are always expensive.
Yeah.
And you want to get experts on a job like that because it's an expensive job.
Yeah.
So that's why they wouldn't trust a random person on a home computer. They need someone with expertise.
I mean, just even like anything to do with print involves so much expertise when it comes to color, when it comes to material, when it comes to scaling things. It's not something that someone can do who hasn't learned how to do it.
No, of course not. It's like, it's ridiculous.
I wouldn't be able to do that as someone who's learned design, because I'm not someone who's
an expert
in print. I'm not someone who's an expert in illustration. I could manage a project like that probably, but I wouldn't be able to do it myself. I would never say like, oh, I could have done this on my home computer.
No.
Or in Photoshop, or I could have drawn this on my iPad.
I think design always looks easy. That's the issue.
Because it's usually done well. Usually the things that you're confronted with in daily life are designed well. So you don't question it.
Yeah.
You're like, and then as you see, when you question it, it's always like, oh, this must have been so easy. It's always about the price. It's the questioning of the price. That's what it is.
Yeah, because whenever something is easy, it equals cheap because it equals less time.
Yeah.
But not.
But the result looks easy.
Yeah.
Usually there was a lot of work involved.
Yeah, there is. There is. I think that things that work really well are actually the hardest to achieve.
Yeah.
From a design
100%.
perspective.
And it takes a lot of expertise, which takes a lot of experience. So there's a lot of work that goes on before you can land a project like this as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Which people forget.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Another one. I wasn't sure.
Ooh,
If
the
I had another
boxes.
slide. Yeah, so, okay, another...
Packaging.
I mean, there's some... I'm guessing they redid the website, or I don't know if that's just like a mock-up of how the design would look like on the website, but I'm guessing they had something to do with something digital as well.
I mean, it's gonna be in the...
Happy to help, that thing on the bottom left, I think that's like the outfits that the people wear.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there's also fashion design involved. So like, I mean, there's so many layers to this logo redesign.
Yeah.
The redesign. Is the redesign in the room with us? It's definitely in the room with us.
It is. I confirm.
Yeah.
It is in the room with us, and I really like it. So I'm really curious. I would be really curious about the briefing. Just, I don't know, just to see where it started and how it arrived there. But we can take a guess. And
I can take an educated guess.
Yeah, you can
that the briefing was what we think it is, and that that they succeeded in it as well.
Yeah.
And I think that this is going to be successful for Walmart in general. The thing is, a redesign is never, like, this type of redesign is never about increasing sales or like, it's not about big goals. It's usually small goals. Like, again, we want to look a little fresher. We want to feel more modern. We want to feel more 2025 and not 2010. Like, those are the types of goals.
And usually also involves target group changes.
Yeah,
because
that's
now
why.
There is a bigger, how do you say that in English? Like buying value.
Yeah, they have more buying power.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Buying power. So younger generations are now gaining buying power.
Yeah.
So of course you want to start appealing to them more. It makes sense from a strategic perspective.
You want that the Gen Z generation and the generation that's coming after them is going to be like, I'm going to go to Walmart for my stuff because it looks like a cute place to shop.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you want. That's the reaction you want from them.
Yeah.
And not like, oh, Walmart, that's so 2000. Like, old people go there.
Yeah.
That's what they don't want to happen. So they have to freshen up their appearance so that they appeal to that generation. It's a totally normal thing to do too. Like, if you look at go back and look at logo, just logo designs, if you're so obsessed with the logo. Coca-Cola, Starbucks, McDonald's, very subtle changes. Burger King, very subtle changes over the years.
I think there were some bigger changes. I think Burger King
had a bigger one, and everyone was like, oh my God.
Everyone freaked out about it. And that's what I mean. Like, do you want people to freak out, or do you want to introduce a subtle change and kind of like...
People don't like change.
No, because whenever something changes, people freak out.
It
like
feels
the Google
less
logo.
Familiar. Yeah, the Google logo, they changed their font. Yeah, that was crazy.
People went crazy. And now no one would remember the old logo. Not no one would remember, but no one cares anymore. Now, if they change this logo, they would go crazy again.
If you look at the Google logo before they made the font change, it was very subtle changes too.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I feel like there is no win. There's always someone that's going to freak out, and for someone it's not enough. And there's always going to be comments about the pricing of
the pricing,
things.
I think, is the trigger for a lot of people. I think with Walmart, the trigger was they have all this money and they're spending it on a redesign instead of paying their employees a living wage.
I mean, that's a whole other topic.
Which is a whole other discussion that has nothing to do with a redesign, because other brands let's just be honest, most of these big corporate brands are not ethical and don't pay their employees enough. It doesn't take away from the fact that these redesigns are a necessary strategic decision that every brand is going to make, regardless of their size. And that the scale for Walmart means it's going to cost them a lot of money, like millions.
Yeah.
Whereas if we did a redesign, it wouldn't cost us millions, because the scale is just not comparable. who's going to see our redesign?
Who's gonna care about it?
Who's going to care about our redesign? Nobody. But who cares about Walmart's redesign? A lot of people, which is evident when you look at the reactions that people had online.
Yeah. I feel like always when there is something changing with bigger brands, it's always provoking a lot of reactions.
Yeah, but I feel like the design community especially is so judgmental.
That's true. That's true. The thing about design is that first of all, it's so subjective.
Yeah.
And it's often aesthetically driven and not strategically driven.
Yeah.
And yeah.
The reactions are also always on the aesthetics and not thinking about why did they do this redesign, what was involved, like what we're talking about now. Like if you look at this, I feel like this already should be enough for someone to be like, okay, there was a lot of work that went into that.
Yeah.
It looks very harmonious and very simple, and like it's all very simple. The design is simple and minimalistic, but to get to that result takes a lot of work.
Definitely.
Complex work that involves a lot of people.
Yeah,
the
whole team.
Actually, if we go back, I think this is the last slide. Let's go back to this one comment. The person in the first comment saying, there's a team out there earning full-time salaries and benefits to come up with this masterpiece of innovation. He's so close to why it's so expensive. It's because there are a lot of people involved in this redesign.
Yeah.
Full teams who are getting a salary and benefiting from it. Of course, because that's what they're hired to do and that's their job and that's just how capitalism works. But it's not something negative. If there's an agency out there who has a team of people, designers that they're paying, they are living and being able to finance their life because of that job, I see that as a positive thing. If they were able to land a client like Walmart, great, congrats.
Yeah.
Wish.
Yeah.
Like the ethics aside, it's never going to be ethical to work with any company in the state of capitalism right now.
Yeah, especially
because it's all just about making money and profit, and that you can argue that's never ethical. But you can have space for Walmart is a horrible company and this redesign was necessary and it makes sense that this was that expensive, right?
Yeah. I'm always
those two things can exist
at the same time. Yeah. I think that it's always two different conversations going on. And if you just, for example, wait, I'm sorry, I'm jumping back again.
Yeah.
Or like we can leave it here as well. The conversation is not an either or, but they always, when the redesign comes out, they always use it to bash the team that did it.
Yeah.
To then suddenly start the conversation about ethics or someone got paid for this, I can do this in my basement.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is like a not very productive conversation because this is the system that's in place right now. And
it's also not the fault of the agency.
That's why, thank you.
The state of the country is in the state that it's in. To prevent companies like Walmart having that much profit and not paying their employees fair wages is a political issue. It's not a agency trying to make a living issue.
Yeah, exactly. We are all in the system trying to make a living.
If I were an agency and a client like Walmart came to me, I would be stupid to not ask for multiple millions of dollars for a branding.
Yeah.
They wouldn't hire you because they would think you don't know what you're doing if you think it's that worth that little.
Yeah.
Plus, there's always also the tax thing. Walmart wants to spend a lot of money on this because there's a lot of, that's for them, profit that is being invested into the company instead of being taxed. People forget about that too. So it's just the system we are in, but I mean, no one's really at fault for that, except politicians. But again, that conversation only comes up when it's about an agency making a lot of money off of a logo or a website or whatever.
Yeah. Especially, I think I was in Vienna where they said, they put this money onto the new logo, but they don't do it for anything else kind of situation. And it always gets political.
Yeah.
But looking at it from all of that aside, obviously completely agree with that. But all of that aside, if you just look at it from a perspective of design, from a perspective of someone came with a briefing, someone gave a scope and pricing, like a bid, someone accepted and got an end result that probably people were happy with, otherwise it wouldn't have been launched.
Yeah.
And probably why I'm saying a lot of people were happy with is because there are a lot of stakeholders approving this. It's not like someone says, "Oh, I'm designing this and it's greenlit." No, it's the process is such a long process to get this where it is right now. And for that, I have mad respect for the outcome. Looks great to me. And
no notes. Honestly, there's really nothing I can say about it that's negative. I think it all works.
Yeah. I mean, I also don't look at it in detail so much because it should work for... Sometimes there are things probably that it doesn't work with 100% because they are like, I don't even know how many things to consider with a rebranding like this.
Yeah.
Like just the merchandise, just the packaging, just the signages. There's always something that might not work extremely well with the new branding.
Yeah.
But I think if the overall things work well, that's a really big win.
For sure.
So the overall things look harmonious to me.
And I really want the hat. And I really want the vest, the happy to help vest.
Yeah,
even though I'm never
cute.
happy to help, but it's cute.
Yeah, I like the boxes too. I don't know.
I want it all.
Looks great. I'm not a big fan of illustrations in general, like in those types. So that's the only thing for me where I would be like, not my favorite, but it works with everything together.
I feel like they went for an illustration because if they had done an image there with people, I feel like it would look like a stock image.
Yeah, we have a brand here in Austria.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also German, I think Müller. They do that. They just cut out people on a white background. It looks so unhinged.
It can look really like cheap. So I get why they went with an illustration. Yeah.
So
it doesn't look like a loading screen or an anus to me either. The more I look at it, the more it looks like a flower to me.
Also, that had nothing to do with the rebranding, really. That has existed before. I mean, they condensed it a bit, right? Like
I think it feels more condensed because it's thicker.
So, okay.
Because it's like bolder, so it looks more condensed.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm always going to have more feelings about people commenting than an actual rebranding because I'm always like, it depends on the context so much that me weighing in is like always so, I feel then similar to the people who weigh in.
Yeah.
But it's good to give
but I feel like it's more
perspective.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's more nuanced because we actually have the perspective of what goes into the work.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people commenting on it don't have that. Especially when it comes to pricing and what's a normal price for something.
Yeah, people would be shocked to know how much things cost.
Yeah, they always think that's crazy because they always see that final number again, but they don't know what happens with that. I mean, it's not like the agency gets 1.5 million and then they have that money.
Yeah.
You know, they also have their
overhead
and all this money that goes out. So, but again, people don't think that far.
No. And yeah, maybe just take it for what it is. A nice little facelift.
Yeah, it's a facelift. You don't want a facelift to be obvious.
No.
That would be a disaster if it were obvious, right?
Yeah.
Same thing goes here. Okay,
how do we end these things?
I know, I was thinking the same thing.
I could just go on, but what should I say?
I feel like I need to talk to the camera now, so I'm going to look at the camera.
Okay, what do? I will drink. You look at the camera.
So thank you for watching this reaction video. It's our first of hopefully more to come. And let us know what you thought of this beautiful anus branding in the comments. And yeah, see you soon.
That seemed super authentic.
Yeah? For real, or are you being sarcastic?
I was a bit sarcastic.
Okay, let me do it again.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this video, check out the other videos on our channel and subscribe for more.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Okay.